Hey guys and gals, today we continue on with Miyagi Mornings. I think this is episode 8. Seems right. We'll figure it out when we write the title in, but it should be episode 8. And these are daily short videos on different various preparedness items and philosophical items and homesteading items and all types of things devoid of only one thing: actual politics, as in picking a side. So I am open to anything and any discussion that you can come up with that you think I might be helpful with on Miyagi Mornings. You can just email me, jack@thesurvivalpodcast.com. Let's get into today's subject. This one did not come from a listener to the podcast or a viewer of the videos. This one is from me personally because of something that happened last night. So last night we sat in the house and a phone alert went off from Fox 4 weather alerts and severe thunderstorm warning for Northwest Tarrant County. Okay. Cool, whatever. Severe thunderstorm, as long as there's no vortexes of death going on, okay, we'll see what happens. 65-mile-an-hour winds, we call that Tuesday around here, no big deal. And then the rain came. It didn't last very long, but as we're sitting there, we were watching American Horror Story, the one on the witch coven. Pretty interesting. Lights go out. And I just sit there, wait. Because sometimes you know how it happens. The lights go out. It's more like a brownout than a blackout. Flicker, flicker, lights come back on. That type of thing. Well, about 30 seconds go by, flicker, flicker. Lights come back on, lights go back out almost instantly. About another 30 seconds by, flicker, flicker, lights come on, lights go out. About another 30 seconds, flicker, flicker, lights out. A couple minutes go by, nothing. I just sit there in the dark with the wife. Okay, time to get up, grab the phone, turn the flashlight on the phone, go get the flashlights we have set up for this situation, get some artificial light going in the house, and wait about 10 minutes and check the Encore thing, and it says, hey, your power will be back on by midnight. Okay, and you're going to piss in my boot and tell me it's raining. See, I've been through this game before. So, it's raining, it's pouring, the old man ain't snoring. Out to the garage I go. We got a nice covered walkway, so I bring the generator just outside the garage under the covered walkway, start running extension cords, get ready to power up the house. And right before I'm ready to grab the pull string on the generator, whoop, lights come back on. I've been through this before too. I'm not putting anything away, so don't put anything away. Except, we do put the cords back outside and all, and power stays on through the night. That's the first time that story ended that way since I bought and invested in generators for my home. And that's what this episode's about, is why a generator or multiple generators along with about 60 gallons of reserve gasoline is probably the best prep you can make, and it absolutely is at this point the best prep I've ever made in my life. I've been a generator owner for a long time. I started doing a survival podcast in 2008. That's almost 13 years ago now. And I have owned generators for longer than that. Right now I own 3, a little one, a middle one, and a big one. And the big one was the one that was coming out first. And I got a lot of reasons for that. But a lot of you guys that listen to me are preppers and you don't own a generator. I don't understand. I really am going to tell you that specifically the several years we lived in Arkansas and the 8 years we've lived here, there is no prep. We've relied on more than our generator, other than the blackout kit we keep in the house, which is like lanterns and flashlights and stuff like that to go get the generator set up. Power goes out. Storms. There's a thing called backhoe fade. You should be able to figure out what backhoe fade means, right? Some idiot on a backhoe dug up an electric line because he didn't pay attention to markings, or some idiot that was supposed to mark the electric lines didn't mark it, so the backhoe dug up the either way, your power's out. And where we live now, and where we lived in Arkansas, specifically, this was really important to us because we kind of lived at the end of a line. A lot of you guys live in the suburbs. If your power goes out, there's ways that interim, they can reroute power and get some or all of the people back up while they fix the thing over here and go back to there. When you're kind of rural, a lot of times, like, you're at a terminal end, there is no other way that you can route power back into a system. And because of that, when your power goes out, it stays out for a while, usually. Last night it didn't. We've had days where they're like, yeah, remember what I said about, I've heard that story before? Yeah, we had one, your power will be back on by 11 p.m. The next day, they said, your power will be back on by 9 p.m. The next day, they said, your power will be back on by 9:30 a.m., and they had finally told the truth. Now, you guys know about Miyagi mornings. Usually it's at the Miyagi pond. Today I got up late because it's a slow day for me, and I'm here in the shade where you can actually see me. But all those fish, they can go half a day without that pump running. They can't go 2.5 days in the summer when that happened, right? So without a generator, I'm screwed. I have lots of meat stored in my deep freezers and chest freezers. That was very useful this year. When everybody's freaking out, oh, Kroger's is out of meat, Albert's is out of meat. I'm not out of meat. I have a freezer full and another freezer full and another freezer full. And once a month, a giant box of meat from Butcher Box shows up at my front door. That was a good prep. But what good is that prep if you don't have a backup power system for your freezers? Now, many of you can get by with something like the Briggs & Stratton 4,500 watt generator that I recommend. That's all you need and then some. I have a 7,500 watt Troy-Bilt, and I have two small generators. One's a little bit bigger. One's like a 2,000 watt, and one's like an 800 watt. That 800 watt one will run all three of my big ponds from one place. There's one cord I run, plug it in, leave it out in the second shop so it doesn't get wet in the rain, fire it up, plug that one cord in, cross-connect two cords, boom, everything's back up and running. The big one runs anything I need to run in my house, plus my chest freezer. So what do you have a middle-sized one for? In case one of them breaks. Yeah, 2 is 1, 1 is none, 3 is for me, and 4 is more. 5 keeps you alive. I'm not quite to 5 generators, but I am to 3, and I recommend you have at least one. And I also recommend that you take your generator out about once every 3 months, fire that sucker up, let it run for 15, 20 minutes, then put it away. And then you won't be like all the people in Hot Springs the time we went almost 2 weeks without power. We finally, when like the town started opening up again and all, because it's a huge ice storm, we went down, we were at Cracker Barrel, and there were people that were clearly at Cracker Barrel because they were miserable and at least they could be comfortable at the Cracker Barrel. And we listened to the conversations around us of how pull the generator out and it had gas leaks, pull the generator out and it wouldn't start, pull the generator, like so many of these people had generators that didn't work. So look, guys, I'm just going to tell you, in just the 13 years that I've been doing the survival podcast, I haven't had to shoot anybody, so I haven't had to use those reserve bullets for much other than not having to buy new bullets. We might have had to patch a few people up with some first aid, but that was usually due to their own stupidity. We didn't really have to use it on ourselves. Most of the preps that we've made, they've been nice to have. The toilet paper and toiletries that we keep in reserve, all that, just made us not part of the panic this year. But the prep we've used over and over and over and over, that's made us comfortable, happy, and literally saved the bacon and the beef in the chest freezers and the fish in the ponds. A good generator. They're not that expensive, and when you hear 60 gallons of gas, you're like, well, that's a lot of gas, that's expensive. Buy a gas can this month. It's November. Write an 11 on it in 2 or 3 places with a Sharpie. Fill it up with gasoline. If you feel really uncomfortable about long-term storage, throw some Stabil in it. Put it somewhere where it's safe to store gasoline. Next month, go buy another gas can, fill it up, write a 12 on it for December. Keep doing that. When you get all the way around back to November's 11, the next time you're going to fill your car up, take your number 11 gas can, pour it in your car, throw it in the back of your car or your truck, take it to the gas station, fill your car up, fill the can up, put it back. December, take the number 12 can. That way over a year you get to 60 gallons and it's always rotated and it's never that old. 60 gallons of gas and a generator or 2 will save your ass. With that, we've wrapped up this episode of Miyagi Mornings. I'll be back tomorrow with a special Thanksgiving edition.